and has been involved in all of the struggles for the last, as long as she could be. And she was very intricate in my run for president in 2004, and I was very happy when I got a text from her in January of 13 saying she was now the president of Tennessee State University. Give her a hand. To our student leaders and to all of you that are here tonight, let me say, when I got up early this morning in New York and was headed to the airport, all across the internet was the story that has dominated a lot of news today, that there was the arguably biggest scandal in college sports with the revelation that the University of North Carolina had fraudulently posted for athletes aids on courses that they never took. That was in the news this morning. As I dug down into the story, the courses that they didn't take, they call them no-show classes, were on African American history. So they had no professor, no class, just had to write a bogus paper at the end of the season. They give you an A only because they wanted to keep your average where you could play ball for them.
Yes, sir.
They didn't care that you didn't know what you were getting credit for, as long as you kept the school where the school wanted to be. So UNC now has to deal with all of these years of fraudulent academic studies using the bodies of young men, mostly basketball, mostly African American. As I boarded the plane to come and talk about the exact opposite that happened in the 1950s on this campus in Tennessee. The opposite of what happened in UNC is when people were scoring and they wouldn't put their scores up. Dr. Dick Barnett and his teammates, under Coach McClendon, who put some principles and discipline in them, wouldn't let them go through no shortcuts. They played when black folks' scores didn't count. That's why it took 56 years to get into Tennessee Hall of Fame. They were worthy the Hall of Fame 56 years ago. It just took that long for Tennessee to catch up.
That's right.
And one of the things that I am going to be part of is that they should be in the Hall of Fame, period. Their story, and he told you part of it. At a time when blacks were still sitting in the back of the bus, at a time when blacks couldn't use a public bathroom, at a time when blacks couldn't go to a restaurant downtown Nashville, they were winning and beating teams and making champions. Well, Red Man, that's a nice story. I'm glad to hear it, but what that got to do with me? I'm 17, 18, 19 now. Because if you understand when you walk on this campus, the price that were paid for people to establish a standard, then you would live up to a standard, because people are trying to tell you now you are not worth anything. If black students at TSU didn't accept that 50 years ago, then why are you accepting the courage, the determination, and the discipline when there was segregation in this town. Why would you accept anything less now, other than somebody done convinced you that you ain't nothing?
Come on now.
It's bad enough for somebody to hold you back. It's worse when you hold yourself back for somebody to convince you.
Me too.
Now, I'm talking a lot of young folks right now, you don't understand. It's rough out there, ain't nothing out there for us, ain't nothing to hope for. It's been rougher than this.
Yes, sir.
Quit having a pity party. Nobody feels sorry for us, nobody ever did.
That's right.
You got to be determined that I'm stronger and tougher than the forces that think I ain't nothing. The body can make it, I can make it too. So right now, we having a big fight in Ferguson, Missouri. Michael Brown. Another fight in New York, Eric Garner. Marches, rallies. I preach both their funerals. People say to me right now, do you think all the rallies and marches gonna mean something? It already does. First thing is, it underscores you can't just kill us and act like we ain't nothing. First thing you do is underscore the human value of life. Why is that important? Because we are growing up at a time that many of us have lost our self-value.
That's right. There you go.
It don't matter what the world calls you, it matters what you respond to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that's what McClellan put in there.
That's strong.
And that's what this drive around them, I hope, imparts in some of you. You know, when I was growing up, I grew up in the 70s and 80s. The culture, Glenda Glover, was different. The culture taught us we were something. We didn't have much of nothing. My father left when I was a kid. I grew up on welfare, food stamps, at some points in my growing up. Working class mother, single mother, at other points in growing up. But I never knew I was underprivileged till I got to Brooklyn College. Myself up.
That's right.
The culture reinforced that. Aretha Franklin was singing Respect. James Brown was singing Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. Marvin Gaye was singing What's Going On. You now have a culture that beats you down and make you hopeless. So you shoot each other because you don't think we got nothing to live for no-how. Calling yourself names, degrade your own women. And if you call yourself something, you're going to become what you call yourself.
Know what your advice was for us as students to push legislation so that out-of-town students can vote in local elections?
Good question. I think that what you must do is organize the students and go to the legislators and say that we want out-of-town students to be able to vote here, or those of us that can't vote here will vote as a block against those legislators that will not give us our interest. There's no reason why young people cannot vote where they go to school. It is a scheme to try to undercut the vote. You're subject to the laws here while you're in school. You're subject to whatever the custom is here. But you can't vote for the lawmakers. That's wrong. And if you went down to the legislature, just a couple of hundred of y'all, they can count heads and they would understand you mean business.
Thank you.
All right, good evening, Reverend Sharpton.